then next we are coming up with Fireside Chat, which is on the topic evolving Indian regulatory landscapes of blockchain technology. So I would request Omika Dubey to please come, and she's going to host the session, as well as our guest Ashima Batra, Additional Director FIU India, is joining us for the same. Everyone, let's give a huge round of applause. So here we are with evolving Indian regularities landscapes.
Yeah, thank you so much for introducing, and Ms. Ashima Batra ji. It's really great to have you at India Blockchain Summit, and it is really an honor to have FIU as a part of India Blockchain Summit. Although it is for very little time, but definitely it is bringing in the fruitful discussion maybe after the 15 minutes of fireside chat. So first of all, I would request you to kindly introduce yourself, like although it is known to everybody, but would love to hear from you also.
So I'm Ashima. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ashima, and I'm here to represent Financial Intelligence Unit India. So Financial Intelligence Unit India is the Government of India entity, which is primarily into anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism related compliances, and crypto, what we call as the virtual digital asset service providers. So they are the entity which is of course the entity of interest here. So, virtual digital asset service providers essentially came into our ambit in the month of March last year. So since then, FIU, because the sector as such doesn't have a prudential regulator or a proper regulator, so we are in the picture, and we are, however, I must add a caveat here that are here for a very limited purpose. That is the purpose of anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism. That is the MLCFT norms. So it's from that standpoint, that FIU India is into picture, and yeah.
So basically, like you mentioned that you particularly take care of the money laundering, right? Yeah, so what are the key challenges you face onto that for the cryptocurrencies basically?
The challenges are far too many. The first and the
Some
foremost.
to mention.
Yeah. So there are far too many as a supervisor or as an FIU, if you ask me. So the anonymity, the cross-border nature, the speed. So whatever happens to be the pros, like I have been seeing from the other side sitting here. So whatever are the pros, whatever you think are the advantages of this technology happen to be a challenge for us. That is one. And anonymity, the first and the foremost, of course. Other than that, because if you ask from a standpoint of view of crypto as an asset, so these are the challenges. Other than that, the NFTs, the stable coins, so on and so forth. So it's a long list. And if you ask me, from standpoint of the sector, the virtual digital asset service providers or so-called crypto exchanges. So in that, I think the first and the foremost, challenge, and I think something that I can tell here is that what we find is that because the sector is so far not regulated, so they don't want to see us. They want us for the limited purpose, of a medal on the chest, because the banks are not giving them accounts, because they don't have a legitimacy. So that's another challenge, because when you interact with them, they want the registration just on an ASAP basis. The moment you start asking them, how are you going to do the KYC, the sanction screening, the travel rule, the EDD, CDD, they will disappear. So attitude, I would say, the sector has to mature. It's quite in a very niche and fancy stage, I would say, from the standpoint of, view that whatever you're doing from innovation point of view is commendable, stupendous, right? And I know, we are also trying to explore ways, as to how we can use this to make lives better. But we have to understand that financial integrity is paramount, we cannot allow this to be used as a, means for money laundering. And trust in me, we have seen n number of cases where it's been, used blindly and in a very, very indiscriminate, manner. And yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for a brief description of it. So what measures are being taken to balance technological innovation with the need for regulatory compliance?
See, Omika, from FIU India, because I'm representing their organization, from our standpoint from our standpoint, what is paramount and what is the mandate is only compliance. So I will not be really the right person to be addressing the issue of, how are we balancing technology and compliance. I have only one mandate: compliance, compliance, and compliance. When I say compliance, what I expect is that I should be able to, tomorrow there is a transaction, I should be able to connect those 36, 40, characters to a real world person, right? Number one. Number two, I should be able to trace it where it has gone, because the possibility of in money laundering cases, the possibility of asset leaving India, particularly in this particular case, is very, very high. It leaves, goes across borders. So the first challenge that we have is to trace where it has gone. First of all, to link it to who it belongs to, right? If it belongs to Omika or Ashima or to Honey or to anybody here, that is my first challenge. My second challenge is to bring that asset back to India, right? So I would say this question is something I would like to recuse myself from, because I have only one mandate: compliance, compliance, and compliance. Please fall into the net, start, get registered, start following the law of the land, because no matter what you are doing, how important it is, how useful it is, as long as it doesn't, it's not on the right side of law, or as long as it is, helping actors who are illicit, it's of no use. So that technology will never be appreciated. In fact, I would also want to use this forum, to help you all appreciate and understand that, as supervisor, because the sector is not regulated, so that way it casts lot more responsibility on you to act more responsibly. The recent Wazirex hack, we are all struggling, we are just rattled like what has happened. So because till the time you have a proper regulator, the onus is on all of you, to behave even all the more maturely, because it will take some time, because unless you are mature enough, it's difficult for you to have a regulator, right?
All right. Yeah, so definitely, and I apologize if that was a question which did not suit it well. Although we are known to the blockchain industry from past like almost 20 years now. So how do you see as per the current scenario, how has it evolved in the regulatory compliance and yeah?
So, Amika, I would be really not a right person to comment on the concept of blockchain as a whole from a regulatory standpoint, or from the evolution standpoint. All I can say is, because what I see, or what I'm dealing with, is a very limited subset of blockchain, that is crypto.
Okay.
So as far as crypto is concerned, what I can say is that it still has a long way to go, right? And it needs, as I said, it needs that level of maturity so that it gets a regulator. There's a law, like you have VARA and like other countries across the world, because of Financial Action Task Force and other international bodies are now coming up with. So to comment on blockchain as a whole, I will be wrong person. I'm not per se a specialist in that. But yes, crypto has a long way to go, and it really needs to have that, as I said, maturity and level where, there can be a law, because it has had a very, staggered kind of a journey. From sometimes, there's a bill which is there, and suddenly then, that bill never sees the light of the day. Then something comes and from the regulator, and then gets struck off from this honorable apex court of the country. So we really need to convince the lawmakers that yes, it's safe, it's mature, we can believe in it, we can trust it, right. And it's not always being used for the wrong or illicit purposes. It has its legit uses as well, as we just saw in from the last speaker's presentation.
Yeah, that's true actually. And last but not the least, so what advice would you be preferring to give it to the business operators or the entrepreneurs to serve for cryptocurrency, if to be precise? Yeah.
Yeah, so my advice would be kindly I mean, of course, that's not an option. You have to be on the right side of law. If you're not on the right side of the law, you're going to get blocked. Your operations will not be allowed. But what I would expect is, as a sector, please behave more maturely, because I get to interact with a lot many of you. So howsoever you are behaving, or howsoever you are coming up, leaves a lot of mark on how the sector is. So that commitment is, I would say, it still is missing the mark. You need that commitment that no, I want to be registered, because or I want to be compliant, not just because it serves me, because my bank person will not tell me that you are a crypto person and you are not registered, I'm not going to let you operate a bank account. So that commitment is not there, you know. I want that commitment to come, that yes, because I want all my transactions or all the transactions happening through my platform to be only for the right, legit purposes, and not to be, I don't want my platform to be misused or abused. So I am here. So the day we see that, I think that is the change, you know, that I as an FIU would really expect, that attitudinal, that mindset change. So, and of course, the other thing is that there are you know, sundry you know, myriad variety of players that we get to see. So I would just want to, it's a little hilarious. So I had one gentleman reaching out to me for a meeting. So when I asked him that why is that you want registration? So this gentleman tells me that I am an arbitrage trader. I want registration because my father sees me sitting on a computer the whole day, almost 12 hours a day. I am earning money and I tell him that I am earning and it's coming in my bank account, but my father thinks that I am into some, you know, gambling or some online kind of a stuff which is not right. So I want registration, you know, because it will give me a legitimacy and maybe I get a suitable match also, because, you know, I can show I am FIU registered. So, I think we need to really travel a long way to come to a stage where we say that, you know, we are all right, and we are, you know, here, and tomorrow any scam happens, any fraud happens, we are here to investigate, we are here to help you. It's not just, you know, that we let our platforms be abused or misused for anything. That commitment has to come, you know, from the sector as a whole. And when I say the sector, I'm just limiting myself to crypto sector, both onshore as well as offshore entities, because we have now a big queue for the offshore entities also. In fact, initially the sector, the long-standing demand of sector was, you know, that you are only making us, you know, comply with the law, and it's a regulatory arbitrage, you know, it's unfair. So now we decided that if you're operating on Indian soil, catering to Indian customers, you ought to come under the net, register and fall in line, else, you know, pack up your bags and leave. So, so that's what I would want to say. We expect that maturity, particularly after visit. I would really want to emphasize that the sentiment is not very positive for the sector. So the sector has to really work hard, you know, to get that positivity back, you know, among the regulatory circles.
Yeah, it's totally understandable, and even like when ma'am is saying that we are always in the support if you go with the regulations, and whatever the frameworks and the protocols has been made need to be in those particularly. Thank you so much for your answer.
Thank you, Omika.
And we could pass on to one or two questions from the audience if anybody would like to have.
It's very wonderful talk you done about this technology. I'm Siddiq from Dubai. You know that the internet is global. Okay, it's for the whole world. The same way blockchain, crypto is for global. If you go to Dubai, there's a law different. If you go to America, there's a law different. Russia, Ukraine, every country, they have different laws. But end of the day, it's all about money. No money, no life. So present system of the world, we have been using the British system created by the British Empire. Okay, last 400 years, they ruled the world. And they brought the idea of centralization of power and money. Everything was centrally controlled. Because of that system, the entire money of the world, the power of the world, the wealth of the world went into the hands of some people. I mean, 99% of the wealth, money of this world in the hands of few people. So, 8 billion people, all the resources of this world belong to all the 8 billion people on earth. So, now nobody can stand against technology. Okay? So, India is already become the software capital of the world. India makes software for the entire world, and Indian brains are best in the world for software. China is for hardware, India is for software. So this technology, like as you said, crypto has to go a long way. Means already 1 billion people using crypto worldwide. Almost 30% of America, Europe, even 1% of Nigeria, 40% of Vietnam population, they all use crypto. So the world has already accepted this technology, and by 2030, it will be at least 50% of the world population will be in crypto. So I totally agree with your vision for the terrorism or all these things. So are you against for teaching this technology to all the people in India. I mean, especially the children. Now, the today's world system, the today's children are not like yesterday children. Like 50 years back, a 30-year-old person today is equal to a 10-year-old child. Okay? So, we are all here for a short period. Without any...
Can you please come to your question?
Yeah, coming to the point, are you against educating the Indian people or students about teaching about this technology?
Sir, my concern, I would be very, candid. My concern is not about teaching people about cryptocurrency. I'm not a champion of cryptocurrency. My concern is ensuring that my soil is not misused or abused in any way by any illicit actor, whether it's crypto, it's fiat currency, it's UPI or anything. My fight is against that. My fight is not against crypto, right? Any actor doing that, we catch, we handle according to law. That's simple as that. About teaching crypto to people, to kids, to students is purely your domain. You decide, you handle. I have nothing against crypto, not in favor of crypto. Financial integrity of India is my concern. Yeah. On my soil, anybody abusing, misusing, not just crypto, but fiat as well, will see the consequences, is all I can say to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's what I want to know. Because I am into education. I want to train billions of people about this fundamental technology.
You also train them not to use it for unethical purposes.
Sure.
We
will follow your direction.
Money is not enough. You also need to be in a land which is safe and secure, right?
But
only money cannot really give you if you have only money, that doesn't help, sir. I hope you understand and appreciate that.
See, money is everything. No money,
and
no
it is
life.
not British legacy that is making us have regulations. You need regulations.
Of course.
So again, I am reiterating what I have said. Anybody misusing it on my soil will see the consequences.
Sure. It should be there like that only.
Train whosoever you want, but train them on the ethical side and also train them to comply with the AML CFT norms as under Prevention of Money Laundering Act.
No, first thing is the education.
That will be a favor to me. Yeah.
No, first thing is
I think it's
teaching.
over now, please.
Thank you.
Can I have the next question, please? Yeah.
Can you pass the mic at the back side?
My question is, do you have any whistleblower protections at FIU?
Whistleblower protection in what sense you are asking?
So, for instance, somebody is working at a fund or is working deep in a crypto startup, or they're in purview to something unethical or a misdealing being done to, and they'd ideally like, because of the scale of the money being handled and the parties that are involved, may not be the best sort of people in character. So if they come to you, or they would like to approach you regarding a misstep which is happening, how is the process for a whistleblower, and how safe is it for an individual?
Sir, you please have to tell me, when you say being a whistleblower for what? I mean, if it's whistleblower, because you don't like your management, we are not.
No.
Right. So you mean to say that you are in a particular entity, and you realize or you understand that the entity is into some hanky-panky, right? So in that case, you can send us a complaint. You can have my email ID. We will be very happy to address that. Other than that, I would also want to highlight here that we are essentially an intelligence organization. So this crypto supervision is just a dual role that we are handling. So essentially an intelligence organization. We'll be very happy to receive your input. You can have my email ID. I can share it with Omika.
Anybody else? So I think we are done with the session. Thank you so much, guys. Can we give a huge round of applause, everyone? I request you.
Thank you.
I would request Mr. Agrim to please come and join us and felicitate. Thank you so much, Ashima, for your time. Thank you so much. Let's clap together, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.